kicking off the year with a new series where I'm going to be building my own palettes inspired by some Pantone color palettes. And I want to shout out the content creator Jessica or Jessica over on Instagram. She hasn't posted in a while. She used to do BYOPs featuring the color stories from these palettes, and we did actually do a collaboration together quite a few years ago. And I remember being so excited to see which color palettes she pulls next and which shadows she pairs with those. So each of the color stories do start out with 4 shades. However, I did want to do a whole entire palette, so I did kind of add on to it. And the color palette that I chose from the Pantone book, the City Haze theme, and then I went on Pinterest and I pulled some other inspiration, but I loved the idea of a color story that's just very, very like city in the evening, maybe a little bit more towards the nighttime. Maybe it had just rained and there's just a lot of fog. It feels really dreary and the air is a little bit crisp. So here are the 4 shades that I started off with, and here's the palette that I created with it. So I did add a little bit of extra shades. Obviously, I did want to match whether with a matte or shimmer the 4 shades that are kind of in the prompt, but I did add a little bit more, especially based on the Pinterest photos. And the yellow in here is for basically the lights that you see that look a little bit more diffused, but they're still pretty bright because they break through the fog. And I also thought it would be nice to have the pop of color. I didn't just want this to be a predominantly gray color story, though there is definitely some gray tones in here, especially this one. I wanted something a little bit more leaning like grayish blue, but adding a little bit more variety since it is a color story. So I would want to be able to create multiple different looks with it, not just monochromatic looks. So that's why there is a darker, cooler tone brown. There's also this mid-tone brown, and then also this olivey green, kind of like the buildings. Maybe there's a little bit of greenery around, and it just has like a little kind of cast over it of the fog. As for the shimmers, I wanted something a little bit more grungy, but also that would complement and maybe brighten up some of these mattes a little bit. So I will put all these shades in the description box, and I did want to only pull Clionadh shades and Viseart mattes so that I could put them in this beautiful palette. It is a Viseart palette. They don't make these anymore. They actually just, I think, semi-recently changed over these full-size palettes, and I'm not sure how I feel about that because I do really like how like sturdy and kind of heavy these feel. Also, this is very easy to clean, but I digress. I knew I wanted a super pale, almost grayish iridescent to just add a little bit of kind of brightness. Again, maybe like a light that's breaking through the fog. And then I wanted more of a kind of grungy, slightly like purple leaning shadow, which is this one right here, and then of course a blue to pair with some of the blue tones in here, and then this one to pair with the yellow and the olive green down here. And I'm really happy with it. I did go back and forth a little bit, and I did kind of take out some of the mattes and switch them out, and I think I got it to a good place. And I'm also going to be showing you the face products that I wanted to pair with this entire mood. As you can see, I wanted to do a pretty dramatic eye look with the palette, so I'm excited to kick off the series. I have so many other ideas for kind of themes of BYOPs that I want to do that are not Pantone color book specific. They're a little bit different, so stay tuned for those. And I do already have some other color palettes picked out, so let's get right into it. I do want this to be a very dramatic look, so I'm first going to take this shade and it's going to go on the outer kind of half of my crease. It's just gonna be a little bit. I will be blending in another shade. I just want this to be very kind of feathered out. And then on this eye, I'm gonna make sure these are really even. And I did prime with the Natasha Denona shadow primer. So it's just gonna give me this kind of wash of like a really pale washed out blue. And then I want to do a super heavy outer corner right here. So I'm picking up this dark blue matte, and I'm gonna make sure to keep it up on the lid and not take it down. And I'm first just kind of packing it on essentially. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. Switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to pick that same shade up just a tad bit and just start blending it out. Like almost like a wing, but not fully wing. I'm going to take a little bit of the shade that was above it, the first shade I put down. Just gonna pop that out here. I'm gonna go back in and just pack on a little bit more of the dark blue. And I'm just gonna really slowly blend it outwards and take it out further and further. But I really want to make sure I have control over it. So in this case, slow and steady wins the race. And then I'm gonna go, I think, with the more grayish shade, kind of like out here is what I'm thinking. So I'm picking up this shade and I'm gonna blend that into that. Love the shade. I love Viseart mattes. They're so pigmented and they just blend so nicely. Next, picking up this green and I'm just gonna pop that in here. And I'm trying to be a little bit more light-handed since it's going to be very, very opaque, just like that. So I picked up a little too much, so now I'm just gonna work to blend it out a little bit. And then I definitely want to do some really fun shimmer layering, kind of all over the lid, going into the inner corner. Putting on some of the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer from me and Clionadh's Light Scatters collab. And I'm gonna put that essentially all over the lid and always tap it out and always do one eye at a time. Picking up this shade, it looks a lot darker in the viewfinder than it actually is, I feel like. And that's just going to bridge these two shades together, or the inner shimmer that I'm gonna put in there. And now I'm picking up this shade and that's gonna go right in the center. I'm gonna bring that up into my crease a little bit. And then picking up this iridescent and it's gonna go in the inner corner. And I think I'm going to use it just a little bit underneath my brow just to highlight just ever so slightly right here. I don't remember the last time I highlighted under my brow, but I thought it would be fun for this look. I think I want to bring this center shade up a little bit more. Yes, just like that. So I cleaned up the under eye area, put down some concealer, and now I'm going to work on the lower lash line. Definitely want to do a little bit something there. Taking this really small pencil brush, this is the Refer 23 brush. I want to be super focused and not risk too much fallout, as well as bringing it down too far. So I'm gonna dip into this gray shade down here, the super dark gray shade, and I'm gonna bring that underneath my lower lash line and just smudge it into here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of that and put it up on top of my lid as well, just so that they kind of connect. Using the same brush, I'm picking up this shimmer shadow, and I did mist it with just some water to help prevent too much fallout, and I'm just gonna run this underneath my little lash line. Wiped off the brush and I'm picking up the iridescent shade again, and I did mist it with just a tiny bit of water, and then I'm gonna connect that onto my lower lash line, but just keeping it really focused on the inner corner with this teeny tiny brush. Okay, maybe that went a little too far down on that one, so I gonna even those out. I think I'm gonna keep it right here, but I do wanna add some pizzazz to the lashes a little bit. So I have these lash poppers from Wildcat. So these ones, I only have these end kind of super wispy pieces left, so I do want to use them, but I will be pairing them with totally different brand of press-on lashes. So I'm either going to do some of these that I have left, these are from Amazon, or I also have the velour lashes in the style Main Characters. So these are going to go right on this outer corner, and I don't want to take them too far down, so I think about right here should be good. And then always want to make sure to push it up against your lashes. I did put on mascara. I used it was like a random mascara, And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. About the same location. That one looks a little bit too low, so I'm gonna actually bring it up higher. I think I'm gonna put on the other piece that I have left, right up next to it, and push together. Oh yeah, that's giving me the wispiness that I was looking for. It's looking very feathery and I love it. So now I just want to kind of blend it in better with my lashes, because you can obviously tell like how much more sparse it gets here. So I really just want to grab one kind of shorter lash to fill that in, to just make that transition a little bit less harsh. So I'm going into the velour lashes, the main character, and I'm stuck between trying these or these. I think I'm gonna do the, I feel like I should do the center, the 10. So I'm gonna do that. I think that should be enough to make it feel, yeah, they definitely added a little bit more. Okay, I'm glad I used that one. I could probably go in with another one, but I don't think I will. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. So basically just adding a little bit more oomph in the center. I tightlined a little bit my upper lash line with this black liner from Too Faced. So here's the finished look. Moving on to the rest of the look, I will be contouring and I will be putting on a highlight, but I decided not to use a blush. I feel like I could have used a cooler tone blush, but I do think the contour will be kind of enough. So I'm going to be using the shade Intuition from Rituel de Fille, and this is called the Inner Glow Cream Pigment, and it is super, super cool tone. Really specific with the placement of this one, so I'm going to be using this kind of brush. This is like a Isom T38 brush. I believe this came free with like a purchase a long time ago. I've had it for some time, and I'm going to really try to kind of take this step by step, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit higher as well, because I kind of want it to be the effect of kind of a blush, but not really a blush in like the usual definition of a blush. And my hair is flying everywhere, so I'm just gonna take it a little bit by little bit. I really don't want to go in with like a lot. And for the highlight, I want to use a Vampire Skin Supershock highlighter from the Twilight and Colourpop collection. And I feel like this is going to be perfect because it is so icy. And I like to just apply these with my finger. I just find that pressing them into the skin is really just the easiest. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to bring it up a little bit up here as well. So it's gonna kind of almost connect with my brow highlight, but not really. For the lip liner, I'm going to be using Curse from Unearthly Cosmetics. And I haven't tried these yet. I haven't even swatched these, but it looks like the kind of shade I want to use to line with. As for the lipstick, I'm a little bit torn in between these two shades. So I'm thinking either Folio from MAC that I just got, or Lilith from the Bailey Sarian and Melt Cosmetics collab. So I'm going to swatch them kind of on the back of my hand so you can see what kind of I'm contemplating between. I actually feel like these might, no, I don't know if they would really go well together. This is Melt and this is Folio. And then here's the Cursed liner. I feel like the Cursed liner is going to go really well with Lilith, so I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to put that on. And that applies so easy. I do feel like I already need to sharpen it though. It smells really good. I don't remember ever having a scented lip liner. I do like it. It smells like vanilla basically, I think. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Okay, this is a perfect combo. It's very, very Grey City. The lip gloss I have in mind is from Queen Cosmetics. It's called Space Party, and I was sent this one in PR, and I mean, look at it. It's like the most perfect, super extra sparkly kind of sheer lip gloss, and I feel like I might add a little something here. Oh yes, a sparkly, hazy city, foggy city. I think that's really nice. So here's a finished City Haze inspired look. Let me know what you think, how it came out. I am loving it. I'm loving this little color story. This was so much fun to build and then now play with. And I did use like quite a bit of the shades. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 shades that I didn't use. I love the layering of the shimmers, and also this lip color is everything. I'm so excited that I finally used it, and I love going through and also picking out the face products, which in this case I knew immediately which highlighter and contour I wanted to use for this look. I'm so excited to hear what you think of this look, and if you enjoy this content, I will put some other videos up on the screen for you so you can keep watching. And thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next time.